do this. Yeah, so be careful standing in on the top when they have like a threatening hero. A threatening hero can be like Pharah if your team's not on high ground with you, Widow, Hanzo, Genji in some cases if he's like somewhere close by and your team dropped, right? So if he's over here, be careful like playing by yourself, right? But generally speaking, if you are gonna play high ground, make sure you don't stand here where he can shoot you easily because he can peek this relatively easily, right? Make him have to peek wide in order to shoot you, right? So play as far to the left as you can if you're gonna do this, okay? Just as a general rule. Like you haven't gotten shot yet. I mean, you actually got shot once, but like you haven't gone like domed yet. But it's been like a near thing a couple of times now already, right? Good kill. Prioritizing squishies over tanks. I like it. Woo! That was close. So when you're chasing the diva, like as she eats your flashbang, don't fan the hammer, right? I don't know if you were expecting her to eat the flashbang, but as soon as you see that, don't fan the hammer because generally speaking, she's not going to drop her DM. So like you don't want to like DM is like time gated, but it's not damage gated. It's not like bubble, right? So you can't burst down the DM. You can only wait it out, right? So in that case, if you're going to shoot the DM, right, make sure you're left clicking it so you have more time to shoot, right? And you spread your damage out a bit more, as opposed to fan the hammer was all burst, right? So unless you land the flash, you cannot fan. Is like kind of micro advice. So it's not really that important to be honest, but just as a general like um, concept, right? Like don't waste burst damage on DM, right? Save it for after the DM, right? Or like if you have the choice between burst and like non-burst, right? Do the non-burst damage first, right? And that will get you through the DM eventually, right? Wait, I got for POV somehow.
You best head for the hills. I'm on fire. Hey there. You're fully here.
As a side note, when you have a flex support who missed a shot on you initially, speaking from experience as a flex support, one of the worst things you can do is just suddenly stop moving. If they've already missed a shot or two, because that almost guarantees they miss the next shot. So if they're under pressure to hit you, right, instead of stopping everything and standing there, right, especially for projectile aiming, then what you actually want to do is keep walking in a straight line towards whatever you were doing, right? Just like show the same movement, and it's a very easy shot for them, right? So, just don't change direction, right? Don't stop suddenly, right? Just kind of like walk and keep going, right, to whatever you're doing, right? Obviously, like don't do this in LOS. So if you're behind cover and walking will get you killed, right? Obviously stop that, right? But for the most part, right, if you're like, if your BAP is struggling to hit you, right, don't make it difficult by like constantly starting and stopping your movement because that's actually really difficult to guess. Yeah, just like keep going. They'll hit it eventually, especially when there's no time crunch like this. Like don't worry about it. I'm not a huge fan of you dropping here. I get that you wanted the flash fan, right? But you can oh, whoops. I get that you wanted the flash fan. But first of all, you want to prioritize this guy anyways, because this guy is like, he's on low ground, he has no cover, he has no teammates, right? And like when this brawl happens, right, you want to kill this guy first, right? He's your like he's the most isolated, right? And then if you're going to ignore this guy, which you can, if you want the Lucio, right, you don't have to drop for this flashbang, right? You can just flash from above and double headshot him from high ground, right? And that way you maintain your high ground and you can go back to whatever you're doing, right? You can just go back for the McCree as soon as you kill that guy, right? And again, this McCree is like super easy to kill, right? But like by dropping and committing for the flash, this is very all or nothing play, right? And you have to get this kill, and then you have to not get like focused by the enemy team afterwards, right? In this case, you're probably not because this is happening. But like, is this blocking the lamp LOS? No way. What? What? He's in the circle, right? Like his center of mass is in the circle. That should be connecting. Maybe not. Maybe his center of mass is like outside the circle. So, but yeah. Anyways, if the lamp is blocking this LO or this like light post lamp post is blocking the LOS of the lamp, that'd be very triggering. But anyways, like this is very all or nothing, right? Because once you get this kill, like you don't your angle is kind of sucky. You're relatively close to them, and you're on low ground, right? Whereas here, like you get this kill from high ground, you go right back. You're still on high ground. You get to do whatever you want, right? Yeah, and unfortunately, you don't even get the kill, right? This high noon is kind of questionable. You get a kill anyways. We'll take it. And again, this high noon would be much better up here, right? Especially with like a bubble support or something. Go play main, right? If your team is here, go this way as a default, right? And try to figure out what to do after that, right? This is super risky because at any point this McCree can just roll into you flashbang and you have zero help, right? You have no bubbles, you have no Ryan, you have no anything. Yeah, or you can face tank a window and die, right? It's just super sketchy. Right? You just want to be further away from the enemy bulk, right? If it's like a Hans over here and you run into him, he headshots you, that's unfortunate, right? But if you run into him, you can also kill him with flashbang, right? You're as threatening as the other way around, right? The only advantage you might have is in walls, right? But in any case, if you win this fight or he's not here, right? You either get free shots in the backline, right? Or you take a free flank to the high ground, right? And then you can high noon, right? Or you can take your free shots. There's a bunch of stuff you can do, right? But in any case, you can apply real flank pressure as opposed to just running away from their window, right? Main is where all the sucky stuff you don't want to be involved with gets used. Like this is really good. A little committal. You kind of want to try an ideal world. You want to walk in, flash fan the hammer, roll out. But if you need to if you're not going to get close enough without it, then maybe it's okay, right? This is very all in. But that said, you're capable of doing this because you're already here, right? So I want you to get here earlier, so you have this option earlier. So I don't know. You get the idea. Yeah, so you're gonna die for that because you rolled, but yeah, not too bad overall. And again, don't worry about having your impact too fast. You can absolutely just go back to high ground and start plinking away, right? That's usually good enough. Take high ground, right? High ground is good. Again, don't emphasize the Rhine. Emphasize the squishies first. The Rhine will die when these squishies have to turn to look at you. If the BAP stops looking at his Rhine to heal his Rhine, to look at you, not die to you, then he's not healing your Rhine, their Rhine, and the Rhine dies. If he is healing the Rhine, then you kill the BAP, and that's even better, right? And the Rhine will probably die immediately afterward anyways. Yeah, but overall, like, just remember that flanks don't have to lead to flashbang kills. Flanking on McCree's damage is it's totally good enough, and having the flashbang in reserve for when the diva pushes you is like very good, very useful, and can save your life a lot of times. And then that way you draw the diva to you, you don't die, you do a lot of damage to the diva mech, maybe even demech her, right? And then like so you start off with pressure, you force a reaction in comms and also from players and like attention. The diva comes to you, you don't die, you force the diva, you do a lot of damage to diva or make her back off or just run away from her or potentially make her lose mech, right? And then once all that's done, right, you get some healing, you come right back to whatever flank you're at, right? Or go even deeper on your flank, right? Flanks don't have to end with flashbang kills. This is the point I'm trying to make. Sorry, this is a pretty good high noon moment, right? If your team were to like very aggressively just like high noon and drop, right? Or just stand here in high noon and have your Rhine drop and bubble you, or just anything like that, right? High noon into like wall behind them so they can't run, right? There's a bunch of stuff you can do here, but you just need a high noon earlier if you're gonna do this. Okay, looks like we're not looking for high noon play. That's fine. Hey, easy. So why is this flashbang play better, right? It's not the enemy team. You're going for the isolated guy, right? You kill him, and now there's no one who can chase. This high noon is probably not the best. You probably want to turn around and confirm whether or not the high noon is actually needed first, because if you turn around and there's a wall here and your Rhine is killing their Rhine, right? You know, maybe not the best high noon. But yeah. Wow, you really wanted the high noon value.
Team kill. 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah. The reason why that high noon didn't get you killed was because your team was fighting somewhere else, right? Not the high noon, sorry, the flash kill, and like that was not the enemy team you were flashbanging. It was the flanker. Okay, they walled already. Again, having high noon here would be really nice, which is why I like using high noon at the end of the fight. High noon actually in this meta is very good, right? Don't listen to anyone who tells you high noon is a battle. It is bad at very specific things, but it's also incredibly good at. Sorry, it's bad at a lot of things, but it's incredibly good at very specific things, and a lot of those things are met by this meta. Going straight to point. Ignore this guy, right? Ignore this guy. He's not doing jack all, right? Like, don't deal with this guy. Don't give up your high ground. Just sit up here and kill these people trying to like support this guy, right? Make sure you help me with Dan. Like, kill like these people running toward point, right? And then go deal with point, right? Someone else can sell point. Doesn't have to be you, right?
10 seconds.
Like, see, Dan killing 3 people there. That should be you involved there, and maybe you get an extra kill, right? And like this monkey like achieves nothing, and all he did, all you coming over here trying to kill the monkey accomplished was like you got your flash being blocked, you landed to fan the hammer, and then you baited Brian in to finish the kill, and Brian died, right? All you need is to stall the point out. You really don't care, and you don't need to be involved in it. You can just go kill people, right? This is like your dream scenario. They're all running around in front of you trying to get out, right? You just kill them, right? And then you go back to point, right? Again, don't chase your tanks. Once you get that kill on the monkey, right, just turn around, start going back. Make sure the Ryan's not chasing you. If he's still chasing you, obviously keep running away, but like, he has to stay point, so you can just go right back and get another crossfire going. Alright, next round.
Ready or
Oh, this was a long break, I remember.
ready.
Okay, not that long. There we go.
Ready for battle. 9, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
This is a very awkward position. I like this. Nice.
Much better.
Grabbing the mega is kind of questionable. You want to just sit around in the back and tell your team to keep pushing, right? So just like grab your mega, like so hang out here. If your team's backing, grab the mega, right? And if your team's not backing, right, then just like go push it into their back and go for a flashbang kill, right? Or just like sit right here and catch them as they're retreating from like your team as they're kiting slightly, because the natural reaction of team pushing isn't to stand there and fight; it's to like back up slightly, right? And then you'll just catch the retreat, right, and shoot them in the back. Or like, again, you just run in really aggressively for a flashbang kill. That's totally valuable as well. And if your team's waiting, right, you grab the mega, then you come back, and then your team presumably is healed up, and they should push, right, and then you should go, right. But going for point is not the play. This is what you do if you're Tracer. This is not a McCree play. McCree doesn't like really benefit from this.
Taking the point. Who's with me?
Also, don't sit in the middle point. You need to be relatively close to a corner so you can get information, right, on which side they're going to push, and run away from it. This is very all or nothing. Yeah, and you don't even get the kill, right? So yes, you got your team through the choke, but at what cost, right? Like McCree is actually the majority of the damage in this comp, or along with Zarya, right? So you really can't afford this. I guess also Ryan, but you know.
Back in the saddle again.
Alright, well this is going on, right? Path in this direction, not this direction. Because you want to get to the high ground, right, and clear it. And then from there you can decide what to do, right? Because generally speaking, most of the time your team will go this way, right? So you should only go this way with your team, right? As if your team is like, you want to get like all the way out here, so you can set up an off angle and then maybe go around or something. That's very greedy though. But if you go high ground, right, you have a very convenient angle. The pressure supports hiding here or here, which is extremely common, right? So as your team goes this way, the enemy supports will hide here, and you get free shots, right? And then potentially you can go like down here, right? Go around into their backline and get a big flank as well, if the fight develops that way. But now you have to fight like a long-range battle with the Widow. And again, because you didn't path this way, now you're forced to go the low ground path, and this is very, very sketch, right? It's good, it's but very sketch. Also, don't fish for flashbang value here. Again, just stand here and shoot. You don't have to do anything. And if they run at you, then you look for flashbang value, right? But the flashbang is to protect yourself. You don't have to force the value here. All right. Well, if you're like now at this point, right? It's safe because your team is committing really hard on this group of people. So flashbang like will get you killed, right? But generally speaking, the priority of McCree is living, not getting flashbang value.
No stopping me.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Clearing angles this is good. What? What is happening? Okay, but again, right? You don't want to get stuck here. You want to get all the way out here, and that way you can like fight away from the enemy team. So they're pushing in behind you, which is presumably being called, right? Like literally just go bail over to this side of the map, or just drop earlier, right? And fish for like the BAP kill or something, right? And unrelated news: Gonzaga is losing to UCLA in basketball. Correct.
I've got unfinished business. Get in here.
Fire at will.
Now secure the payload. Let's move it out.
Again, payload is cool, right? Point is cool, right? But don't let that compromise your contribution to the fight, right? Once you get the payload, keep going, take an angle, and contribute to the fight, right? You don't have to do much, but you do need to divert attention or do damage, right? But you're way too late to this because you're trying to get cart progress, right? And now you're eating aggro, and it's very risky. So at this point, you need to get like the heck out of here a lot earlier, right? As soon as they start even looking in general direction, your team's not actively fighting them, you need to be bailing already, right? And not this way, right? It needs to be this way, right? So that we can grab the mega, and also so that we can grab and get cover. I'm greatly impressed by your discipline to not press high noon there. Alright, you need to be taking high ground now. This is okay. Alright, so you should be getting your Rhine up to high ground with you, and have like your Lucio walk cart, because you need to have a shield for your high noon here. This is very, very greedy. Because, like, again, they have McCree, they have Hanzo. Those are two things that can kill you before you do anything with your high noon, right? So it's just way better, more consistent if you stack with your shield. Because they have no wall to cancel your high noon, right? And even if they did have wall, you have your counter wall, which can raise you over the wall and give you a high noon, right? But you just need to stack with your ride, because it'll give you literally a free high noon. If you just walk out with high noon and speed, right, this is a guaranteed cap, right? But you're trying to flank and you're trying to get too fancy with this. Again, this was entirely predictable, right? And it's like you didn't need to do this, right? You didn't have to do any of this. You could have just stacked with your ride, gotten a free cap, gotten like maybe 2 kills, and won the fight.
Got unfinished business. Secure the payload.
Should not be in UN cart. Your positioning is too important. In terms of like where you need to set up, usually on high ground or an off angle, right? So you can't be the one pushing cart generally. Okay, we stacked lamp and beat, but it worked out. This is very aggressive. It's whatever, I guess. Splitting off from your team, I like it. When you split like this, like take the time to settle and make sure you hit your shot. It's like the first shot on Widow, right? That shot really matters because you're not going to get a whole lot of shots from this angle, right? Eventually, you'll draw attention, right? And then that's when, like, as soon as people start looking at you, back out, right? And that's gives your team a lot of space to capitalize on, right? But the most important thing, right, is making sure you hit that first shot and preferably a headshot, right? Take the time to line it up, right? No one knows you're here. You're chilling. Yeah, so this is too aggressive, right? So I know you didn't initially draw a reaction, but you will draw a reaction, right? So you cannot be out here when the reaction comes. You need to be like hanging out by this doorway. and that way you have the ability to hide and run.
Team kill.
It ain't my time.
Alright, so your priority, so be careful with this jump. It makes you really easy to hit, but your priority is getting from here to here, right? And this is your safety spot, right? That gives you a lot of angles to work with and stuff like that, right? So your goal is just to like even commit roll if you have to, right? Just to get across faster and set up in your actual spot, and then you can start looking to potentially go all the way around or flank or something, or just not with your team, right? Again, right? Your team goes this way, you just go this way, right? You show up here, get a flash kill, and then you roll out, and then you go run away again, right? And if they don't push you, right, you just hang on this doorway, you come back, you start planking away until someone comes to like look at you, right? And if someone comes to look at you, you go right back, grab the mega, right, and then link up with your team presumably if they've won the fight, or back all the way out if your team's lost the fight, right? Careful peeking the window.
Fire at will. Freeze! Don't move. Triple kill.
There was someone on that. Yeah, there was someone behind you. I'm pretty sure I saw someone go left, but I don't know if that was like the silhouette I saw on that I have the advantage with, or that was actually something on your screen. All right, you pushing cards very awkward, but whatever. Make sure you split off here. So generally speaking, if your Ryan's going to be holding the right side because he's coming back, right? You want to push really hard to the left side, right? Make them come get you. And if needed, right? You have a mega over here. You can fall back in this hallway over here, right? And you're very hard to push, right? So just hang out behind here, behind these pillars, or like over here, right? If you feel very unconfident because they're like your Zarya's not holding out here or something, and they're actively pushing this direction, right? Then you can back up. But for the most part, you want to hold in this general side of the map. That will also give you high noon value. Alright, call for speed here. This is unfortunate. You're just too far away. I mean, I guess it works out, but... Goodbye, world. Unless he missed? He missed! I'm pretty sure if you blinked away for a couple seconds before rolling in for the flashbang kill, you would have killed like 2 or 3 people there instead of just 1, but we'll take it.
It ain't my time.
They're on Genji now. Interesting. Getting rolled. Nice. Play wide. Deal with the off angle. Nice. That's really good. All right. Overall, you're just too eager to get flashbang value in general. You're trying too hard for flashbang, and flashbang is more of a protection to help you like maintain your angle, right? So it makes it so that it's very difficult for a single person to actually push you on your off angle, right? And you don't need to like commit for flashbang. So this results in you dropping up high ground a lot too early. It results in you like all-inning in the backline for a flashbang kill, right? You don't have to do all this stuff. You just need to get around an angle where you can shoot, and that's usually threatening enough, right? And when you summon help, right, then you can flashbang it or just bail, right? Depending on like the situation. But yeah, you're just trying too hard for flashbang value. Yeah. Also, high noon is very good in this meta, so try and structure plays around that. Yeah. Overall, hope that was helpful. If any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And if you get to this part of the video, DM me what 43 times 2 equals.